Celebrities who have families that are really struggling in life. Before we start, I would want you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Not every rich and famous international celebrity was born wealthy. Beyond the glitzy designer threads and glamorous lifestyles, there are real stories of well-known stars who experienced trauma and endured poverty before they made it big. Here are some of the celebrities who know what hardship is really like. Shania Twain. At a young age in Ontario, Canada, Twain was using her singing talent at bars to help earn money for the struggling family of 5 kids. According to her autobiography, she recalls that at a young age, she witnessed experiences of domestic violence, fueled by arguments about money and being unable to buy food, pay for rent or bills. In an interview with ABC News in the USA, Twain spoke about this suffering and of being constantly hungry. It's very hard to concentrate when your stomach's rumbling. Leonardo DiCaprio. It was through hard work, the support of his mother, and talent that helped DiCaprio escape from a neighborhood he called Scumsville in Los Angeles. The Hollywood actor told LA Times, "I grew up very poor and I got to see the other side of the spectrum. I try to tell my godson, who lives close to that area, what it was like. How there used to be a major prostitution ring on my street corner, crime and violence everywhere. And I'm not sure he believes me. It is this upbringing and experience that DiCaprio has never taken drugs and has a different perspective on privilege. His mother, a secretary and German immigrant, dedicated her time between jobs to drive DiCaprio to auditions." Nicki Minaj. The flamboyant rapper has spoken often with brutal honesty about her difficult upbringing when moving from Trinidad to Queens and New York City at the age of 5. One account is documented in Rolling Stone where the rapper tells the music title that her ambition stems from a troubled childhood. "I would go in my room and kneel down at the foot of my bed and pray that God would make me rich so that I could take care of my mother," she tells Rolling Stone. Sarah Jessica Parker. Dickensian is how Parker has described her upbringing, with 8 siblings to Esme with hand-me-down clothes, often with no electricity and often skipping birthday and Christmas celebrations. Some people have assumptions about who is dependent on our state and federal governments for need. I think sometimes people think it's a lot of people of color, but this is what welfare looks like. That doesn't mean they're lazy or uneducated or have low standards. It's just that they can't manage at the moment, and my family was a good example of that, she told Esme. Novak Djokovic. According to The Guardian, the Serbian-born tennis champion used journaling as a coping technique when living through war in Belgrade as a child. He often looks back on these entries to remember what he's been through. "My parents did everything they could to give me and my brothers a carefree childhood, despite the fact that we lived through 2 wars, 1992 and 1999, and in between times we had an embargo on everything. So people would have to queue for milk and bread. The economy was non-existent, and often it was just a matter of survival. In the state of emergency, we learned to appreciate and value life itself," Djokovic told The Guardian. Jim Carrey. When he was a boy, Jim Carrey and his family lost their home and had to live in a van. He quit school at age 15 to help support the family. These days, Carrey does just fine as Hollywood's funny man, whose jokes have made him mind-bogglingly rich. Infamous roles in Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, and In Living Color have skyrocketed his net worth to over $150 million. Ralph Lauren. According to his high school yearbook, Ralph Lauren's goal was to become a millionaire. At the time, he was living in the Bronx as the youngest child of poor Jewish immigrants. He enlisted in the army and worked as a clerk at Brooks Brothers before becoming a business icon. Lauren began his fashion empire with wide neckties, an uncommon fashion trend at the time, and after selling thousands, he launched his polo line that cemented him firmly into the land of fame and fortune. He had even a cameo on Friends. Today, his estimated net worth is $7 billion. Dolly Parton. Country music icon Dolly Parton grew up dirt poor. She was raised in a one-room cabin in the woods with dirt floors and little money. Her parents worked hard to stretch a dollar. She told Money, regardless of her $500 million and growing net worth, old habits die hard. Parton told Money about her lifestyle now versus as a destitute child. "If I'm thinking about spending a lot of money on clothing or furniture, I think I can't spend so much money on one thing. My poor old daddy could have raised his family 5 years on that." Oprah. TV personality and actress Oprah Winfrey is one of the richest self-made women in the world, which is a far cry from her upbringing in rural Mississippi on her grandmother's farm. Winfrey moved a lot, according to Business Insider. She went from a boarding home in Milwaukee surrounded by extreme poverty and sexual assault to her father's house in Nashville, Tennessee. She dropped out of college early to begin her career in media. Decades later, Winfrey is an entrepreneur legend. Her company, Harpo Productions, is responsible for some massively successful daytime shows including The Oprah Winfrey Show, Rachel Ray, and Dr. Phil, and an accompanying $2.9 billion net worth. Isn't that shabby? What could celebrities ever known about the American dream? To us common folk, they've been walking red carpets, cashing checks, and snacking on avocado toast for years, never understanding the value of a struggle. For some celebrities, though, it's completely true. Their affluent family trees made money and fame seemed like a natural progression. But for others, with modest upbringings, the limelight wasn't a foreseeable option as they were growing up in poverty. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment below.